Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie Fisher, and I'm going to be the facilitator today of Rotary's program. I have the pleasure of introducing you to two very interesting young women. Sue Carpenter, who is the Director of Membership Services at the Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce, and she's been on staff there for 5 years. And Sue is a native of Michigan, graduated from Auburn University, has a degree in public relations and speech, communications, and journalism. Has worked in the nonprofit sector and worked in television advertising, is the mother of two daughters and a son, married, and has lived in 7 different states and 11 different communities, so all over. And then they chose to settle here in Muskegon, which is really great. So thank you, Sue. And Sue has been working with Anna Olson. Anna and her brother are owners of Los Amigos, the Mexican restaurant on Sherman Avenue or Sherman Boulevard. And we're going to allow the two of them to talk about some developments, particularly since COVID-19 has entered our lives. So, Anna, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a native of Muskegon for about 5 years from
Yes, I
Mexico.
have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I moved actually from Wisconsin. I lived there for a few years and I moved to Muskegon at the end of 2012.
Okay, and you came here specifically because your brother was interested in purchasing Los Amigos at that point, or another
Correct.
reason? Okay,
Yeah, that was the main reason. He needed help. He is an excellent cook, very hard worker, but he has issues in logistics. So that's what I came.
okay. And did you have background in restaurant work at that point?
No, I was supervising before. I had experience in just being in the front and supervising, so he thought that I was a good asset. So I came
Okay,
for that.
good. And you had a lot of fun for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been challenging, but
Mhm.
it's always learning, and especially in nowadays, it's every day something different that we need to adapt and be okay with. But it's been fun. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Well, and the restaurant industry is challenging, and these days it's a real challenge, and that's what we're going to have you talk about in a second. So, a few months ago, things changed dramatically when COVID came onto the scene, and you had to make some big changes, I imagine.
Yeah, so it was overnight, really, for everybody, not just for the industry and restaurant industry, but it was overnight that we learned that we had to close, that we need to adapt to a new market. We want to make sure that we stay in business. And at that point, it was not too much of a concern because we all thought it's going to be a few weeks. We were going to reopen on April 6th. And, months and months later, almost 3 months later, is when we were able to reopen our dining room. So we had to get to the customer in a different way. We had to sign up for delivery services, online services. We had to evolve how we deliver our food in a constant training to make sure that our food it's not just available, but it's something that people feel comfortable purchasing.
Mhm. So, had you been a longtime member of the chamber at that point?
No, I hadn't. Even though the restaurant has been in business since 2006, they had never, neither in previous administrations, were part of the chamber. So I came to the chamber in 2019, Sue, I think,
Yep.
if my
Yep.
memory serves me correctly. And I always been a big advocate um, in the community in general. And then I brought the Hispanic Chamber to my restaurant from Grand Rapids. And there I met Dawn, and we started talking. So I decided to become part of the chamber because, I believe that if, you have to put your money where your mouth is. So
Mhm.
I had no say and how things happen if I'm not part of something, right? So I became part of the chamber to learn more of what they are about, and what they do and how they can better, in general, Muskegon community, and how maybe can I contribute to that.
Okay. So, what have you done that has been beneficial to the chamber?
Well, I don't know if I can speak too much of
I can
that.
answer that.
Yeah, I think Sue be better.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
So,
why don't you tell us a little bit about Anna's contribution?
yes, we learned a lot about Anna and Los Amigos, just in watching her on social media, seeing her win recognitions regionally. We knew that she was a great leader and setting a great example for others, not only in her industry, but other women in business and others who, have an interest in starting their own businesses. So the chamber began to wrap her into more and more of our meetings because we like her message, we like her expertise, and we knew that she could share that with others.
Mm-hmm. So, and how has she done that?
Well, gosh, since COVID, since we're kind of still in the midst of some new ways that we are sharing information, we have had some virtual roundtables similar to what we're doing today. And we've invited her to be a featured guest where she can share her story, share ways that she was able to innovate and change her business, like Anna, you said, overnight. And really encourage people to do the same, that it is possible. It does take a lot of hard work, creative thinking, and connecting with others to bounce your ideas off of, but really just making it happen with your decisions and your team.
That's great. Thank you. And I imagine you've had to do a lot of innovative activities as well at the chamber. So your roundtables are virtual today, and a lot fewer meetings face to face, I'm sure, with your members in general. Is that right?
Yep, we've had to innovate as well. So not only are we watching the business community around us innovate as Anna and her team, but the chamber has had to change our operations and our activities as well. So you will see a lot of virtual meetings, roundtable discussions, and events. But we do have coming up a sprinkling of smaller in-person gatherings. So you'll see some of those coming up, of course, with safety as our number one priority.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Anna, can you tell us a little bit about some things that you're doing differently? What changes have you had to make?
So I became a ServeSafe proctor and instructor before COVID happened, and when I you enter to that industry where you are to teach people how to correctly prepare food and present it to people. I was able to gain resources, a lot of resources, when COVID first hit us. So I was able to promptly train all of my staff in our safe practices, constantly and evolving throughout the days. Just even yesterday, we had to make sure that all of our servers knew that we couldn't have a table more than 10 people, so we can keep within the regulations from the state. And then so we had to change everything. We have to make sure that not only our customers are safe, but mainly our employees, right? I cannot function without my employees. And I wouldn't be open today if it wasn't for them. So I have to make sure that my employees are safe, that they feel safe coming into work, and they feel safe going home knowing that they would not bring anything to their families. So that was one of my biggest priorities. So having accessible cleaning supplies, and that if they feel like they've been in contact with something that might put them in risk, just as easy as handling just a credit card, that they are able to promptly correct any interaction that they feel that might be dangerous. And then that is one of the main things, putting barriers when 6 feet apart are not possible. And just in general, keeping truly the table 6 feet apart. That is something that I have seen a lot of the restaurants, not just in Muskegon, but in the area, they don't truly follow. And that is terrifying in a sense, because I do understand more than anybody else that I need to make sure that I have enough people inside my restaurant so I can generate enough revenue to pay my bills. But at the same time, it is not worth to put anybody in risk and to not make my employees and my customers feel safe. I want you to go to the restaurant and assure you that you're going to be enough, if that's how you feel comfortable, like far away from other people as possible. So it is been a curving, it's learning in general every day, knowing that I'm not saying that we don't do mistakes, we do them, but correcting them and properly addressing that with our team and our community, it's very important. Transparency.
Well, and it's a real challenge in your industry. People go to a restaurant for a social interaction with people, and so it's a challenge, I'm sure, for you to ensure their safety while also their comfort and their enjoyment while they're visiting your establishment. That's got to be hard, yeah. And Sue, you're seeing this in other industries as well, I'm sure. That we were talking about the restaurant industry specifically right now, and that's a huge field that's being affected by this, but you're seeing it as a membership organization and all the other industries as well, I'm sure.
We are. There's some great examples locally. And, I was thinking about restaurant and retail specifically as we were getting ready to meet here today. But some specific examples are like the cheese lady and the fishmonger's wife. They both transformed the way they do business. So, for instance, the cheese lady now does grab and go. So you can stop at her shop. She's got prepackaged cheese bags, which have a great variety of cheeses, some little crackers and things like that. You pay one price, you take it and you go. So it's very different than standing in line, trying out the cheeses before you buy. It's much safer, and it adds a great variety, to the menu for her customers, which is very cool. The other thing she did too is she brought her operations outside. She has a very small footprint in her shop. So what she ended up doing is putting her menu on the outside of the building. So you can actually stand in line. She also put tents over the sidewalk. So you can stand in line outside and you can see her menu right there. And then as her business allows you to come inside for capacity, you can know what you're going to order before you even get inside. So it's a really neat thing that she's doing over there. And then Fishmonger's wife, immediately, as soon as she was allowed to begin operations again, she established a drive-through at her property. So, and she had maps, she communicated clearly on social media so that when you got to her shop, you knew exactly where to go and how to get through the drive-through area to keep everybody much safer. And then one more place, a restaurant, The Deck out on Pere Marquette Beach. Of course, they already had their expansion efforts underway. So they have almost, I think, tripled the amount of outdoor space that they have to serve. But what I noticed, and I don't know if I'm noticing because of COVID, they might have had this before and I just didn't notice, but they have two big bay windows in the front of the building now used for walk-up service. So you can stay outside, you stay safe. The menu is right on the wall, and you can either do your pickup from your ordering online, or I believe you can order at the window and take it to go right there. So very innovative, really exciting to see. Love, Anna, what you did with your curbside service. It's really exciting. It's really exciting to see how well our businesses handled that situation.
So it sounds like despite the setbacks and the downside of COVID and everything it's brought to business and industry, there have also been some positives, some new business opportunities, perhaps.
We saw a lot of businesses change the products that they produce. For instance, you saw the distilleries, they began making hand sanitizer, totally different products. They were in the beverage industry, and then all of a sudden they were in the healthcare field with their hand sanitizer. So that was really interesting. Personally speaking, my husband works for a furniture manufacturer. They have a lot of industrial sewers, and they began making masks and medical screening. So yes, a lot of really interesting new ways to do business during this emergency situation.
And how has that affected you, Anna? What new avenues are you pursuing now and maybe in the future?
Yeah, so we were able to partnership with different delivery services that they were very accommodating. So now if you go to our website, you can order delivery. With that, we ensure that we put all of our food in a sealed bag, like we put paper bags and we staple them. So the customer is able to see that their food hasn't been tampered with, or if it has, we ensure that we monitor that. So know that even if we give the food to somebody else that is not necessarily the customer, knowing that it's going to get safe to the customer. We also implemented family style meals where customers are able to pick kind of almost like a buffet style meal, like you have all your meat and your fixings all together, and then people are able just to put it at the table and kind of eat from home instead of just ordering an individual meal for everybody. It can get costly when you have a large family versus ordering just a bunch of fajitas or a bunch of taco meat, and then we're just gonna have taco night. So we have a changing constantly on that, and then just ensuring that there is a no contact between the previous customer and the customer that we have in front of us. So anything that is used, we ensure that if you are the only one that is using it. We are using paper menus, they are thrown away. We have contactless menus, so people are able to scan a QR code and then see all the menu online. So they, who has a phone nowadays on their hands all the time? So we were able to utilize that. And just, leaving nothing on the tables. So if you want salt or pepper, you ask for it. And then after that, it gets re-sanitized. Pens is a big thing because we were able to find out quickly that if we wouldn't allow people to give them something back to sign, that it impacted the tip of our servers. So every time you use a pen, it gets re-sanitized before it gets touched by anybody else. And just things like that to assure the customer that they feel safe purchasing with us, because that's one of the big things, right? We wanted the repeat customer, there's somebody that if they are thinking they're going to dine out or they're going to order to go, they keep us in their thoughts. And then safety is a big part, but knowing that also the market is evolving, so evolving with that and adding different menu items to cover the demand that the market has right now.
Well, thank you both. Sue, we look forward to hearing more from the Chamber's angle on COVID and how everyone in the community, all the businesses are adapting to it. And Anna, we understand you were the recipient in 2019 of the GROW Award, Leadership Award, which is very exciting. Congratulations. Sue commented, alluded to that. Congratulations on that. And it shows leadership and your innovation and all these other changes that you've been able to manage with without being flustered too much. It seems that it's pretty, that's a testament to your leadership. So
Thank you.
congratulations on what you've done to contribute to your industry and to the chamber and to our community, and good luck. Continue to success with the restaurant. And Sue, we look forward to seeing you again at a future meeting, perhaps, too. Thank you very much for coming today.
Hopefully.